we evolve, because it's what we can do. It's what we should do. Today, tomorrow, forever.
Raise your hand if you've recognized any of the following names. Katniss Everdeen, Odysseus, Harry Potter, Siddhartha. You may have read about them in a book, or maybe saw them in a film. They're wizards and hobbits, huntresses, heroes. But they all share a single trait. They're all heroes. And the funny thing about heroes is that no one's born one. You all have to earn that title. And it's no small feat. But the prize is well worth it. Do we have any heroes in the house today? Okay. So today I have the honor of sharing with you the secret path to becoming a hero. If you accept this call to adventure, you will earn your superpowers. But with great powers come great responsibility. So, if you follow along with me on this path, you will be charged with having to save the world. So do you accept? All right, let's do it. So, we're going to start by going back in time, about 1.8 million years to be exact. Back then, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, roving bands of 30 to 50 individuals, tied by blood and kinship. And now these bands would roam different territories looking for sustenance. And every individual was crucial for the survival of the collective. So whether you're out there gathering plants, hunting for meat, or back home building shelter or taking care of the young, you were indispensable. And thus, as a result, everyone was equal and thus egalitarian. Men and women, equally of importance. And there was a flat leadership practice. In other words, leaders would arise only in times of crisis. As soon as that challenge was met, powers would be devolved, and they're back to being part of the collective. So the nomads, they travel seasonally, finding optimal living conditions. As soon as they found their home, they would set out small teams out to the unknown in search of sustenance. And as one can imagine, when you're out there in the unknown, challenges arise. A saber-toothed tiger might jump at you. Maybe an avalanche would fall. Maybe you'd run into a rival band who would cast spells on you. So the nomads would be there, face the challenge, defeat the challenge, collect the prize, come back home to tell the story. And so imagine yourself walking back with a bundle of bananas or maybe the skin of that saber-toothed tiger you beat, and you're sitting by the campfire, and as we all do, embellish the stories a bit. You know, maybe that one saber-toothed tiger is now a dozen. That avalanche kept us under for 3 days, and those spells turned us into zombies, you know. And we tell these stories, and that same pattern would occur. We'd head out, we'd defeat the enemies, come back and tell the story. Head out, come back, tell the story. Campfire to campfire, generation to generation, these simple stories became legends. They were passed down, became our cultural heirlooms. Parents would use these stories to teach their kids to behave. You know, if you don't clean that room, that saber-toothed tiger is going to get you. Elders would use these stories to explain natural phenomena, like why the sun replaces the moon, or why water falls from the sky. It's these stories that became the building blocks of all the great epics that we know and love, part of the canon that made our shared cultural history. From the first one, Gilgamesh, through the Odyssey, the tales of King Arthur, to Star Wars, Harry Potter, and the Hunger Games. But what's the common thread amongst all those stories? From that first hunter-gatherer all the way to Katniss. And a word, travel. Travel is as fundamental a human need for us as our need to breathe. So we already covered how the hunter-gatherers would have to move around all the time for survival. But even today, in our very lives, and in our most sacred traditions, travel plays a role. In many cultures, children become adults through rites of passage, like the Vision Quest. Couples transition to married life with a honeymoon, right? And even wars, unfortunately, have historically been romanticized as opportunities for the youth to travel to exotic lands. As an industry, travel encompasses 10% of global GDP. 1 in every 10 people in the world works in the travel industry. It's a big number. Travel is hard-coded into our cultural DNA. It's what connects each and every one of us together as individuals and as a collective back in time to our shared history. It's no wonder then that the United Nations have enshrined the freedom to travel as part of our Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, so now we know that travel is the key to becoming a hero. Now we need to find the map. How do we become the hero? What's the path? So in case anyone has not been paying attention so far, can't really see you, but now's the time to listen, because this is your treasure map. And it begins with a call to adventure. Joan of Arc was a 13-year-old farm girl in war-torn medieval France when she had her first vision. The angel Gabriel came down and told her it's on her to save her people. So she answered the call. She left her farm, and she went and did just that. Bilbo Baggins had an incredible life in the Shire. I mean, he had his friends there, it's a beautiful garden area, a house, why leave? Yet, when the call came, and he had to return the ring to Mordor, he did it. Some of you people, you have that just burning itch to leave, set out the adventure. Me? I know I don't want to go. Life's pretty good right now. I got an awesome community of people around me. But the thing is, meaningful change can only happen outside of that comfort zone. And heroes only emerge in the unknown. So, we answer the call, and we cross the threshold. And there's no looking back right now. This is Katniss leaving the district to go to the capital and face the Hunger Games, right? This is Theseus leaving Athens and setting out to the labyrinth to defeat the Minotaur and save his fellow Athenians. Now, if you look back, you won't find home any longer. So you might as well keep your gaze forward and march on until you find the ordeal. This is the central challenge that stands between you and the prize. For some of us, it might be a physical obstacle. It might even be a live adversary. Wonder Woman had to defeat Ares to save the world, right? For some of us, though, it's going to be internal. Prince Siddhartha decided to sit under the Bodhi tree and refused to move until he found answers to what he was looking for. So he sat down in lotus position, closed his eyes, and decided to meditate. And eventually he achieved enlightenment and became the Lord Buddha. And some of us have this challenge in our mind, and we know what we're going to be facing. Plenty of us are just going to be on that road, and it's going to hit us. But whatever that challenge is, I know that you will find it and you will best it to achieve the prize. Also known as the initiation. You know, the thing about the prize, I'm going to let you in a little secret. Most people think about the prize as a hidden treasure, something of that sort. The truth is, and this is a secret that's been held close for generations, the real prize, it's internal. Hence the initiation. It's your transformation. You beat the bad guy. You cross the finish line. That prize is you as an individual becoming the hero. It's finding your superpowers. So now, with the prize in mind, you set back for home. You think it's over? This is just the beginning. Now, the road home is long and full of obstacles. But the central of obstacles is knowing that the adventure is almost over. And you got to go back home and face the challenges there. Because Home remains the same fragile place that's beset with great challenges. Challenges only a true hero could help solve. But you're changed. You are now that hero. And it's on you to be the change you want to see. Mahatma Gandhi left for South Africa and then to England, where he honed his craft, gained a great education, but also saw oppression firsthand. And only there he realized what his role is when he came back to India and led his people to independence. Learning the wily ways of Hakuna Matata, Simba realized what his role is. So he came back to Pride Rock, defeated Scar and the hyenas, claimed the mantle of the Lion King, and put the circle of life back in motion. See, the path of the true hero's journey is learning, is defeating the challenges, but it's only really when you come back and applying those gifts at home. Okay, so let's see, we traveled quite a bit already. Pride Rock to Hogwarts, India to the ancient Mediterranean, back in time. Now we're back in Santa Barbara. And the funny thing is, again, these stories that we know and we love, that taught us right from wrong, that kept us from hours of boredom, that showed us that if we just look a little farther on, there's maybe more to this world than we think there is. They all follow the same basic pattern. It's a pattern that's often referred to as the hero's journey, or the monomyth. It's a term that was popularized by the mythologist Joseph Campbell. And what Campbell did was basically boil down all those stories to a simple set of stages, right? This is your treasure map. So, whether you have your passport in hand, and you're about to set off across the ocean, or you have your bus pass in hand, and you're heading downtown to explore a new neighborhood for the first time, it only takes that first step, that first act of travel, to set on the path of the hero's journey. So now the question remains, will you accept the call to adventure? Thank you.